de los más emocionantes para el público. Y Justin dice, yo les voy a echar el plan a perder al UFC y voy a pelear con Ilya en la Casa Blanca. ¿Te gusta esa idea? Porque obviamente Justin es de los candidatos, porque es estadounidense, porque ha estado cercano al presidente Trump, etcétera.
Mira, la verdad que yo siempre acepto la voluntad de Dios, lo que Él quiera que pase para mí será bueno. Si gana Paddy, si gana Justin Gaethje, realmente si gana Justin Gaethje, la UFC tiene planes diferentes de las que no puedo hablar en este momento. Pero bueno, si me ofrecieran pelear con Justin Gaethje en la Casa Blanca, también sería un combate muy emocionante para mí. Sería algo que me ilusionaría muchísimo. No sé qué tan capaz va a ser de arruinar los planes de la UFC y los planes de Paddy Pimblett. Lo va a tener bastante difícil, no imposible, así que le deseo toda la suerte. Pero no sé si tendrá tanta suerte ganándole a Paddy Pimblett, porque después se va a tener que encerrar en un octógono conmigo y no sé si eso es tener mucha suerte o no.
Спасибо за вопрос. Отдыха не будет, так как я буду, можно сказать, запасным, но неофициально запасным на бой Paddy против Gaethje. То есть, если кто-то из них травмируется, то я буду готов залететь за неделю, за 10 дней, за 5 дней. То есть я буду подводить свой вес, да, я не буду гонять его в день взвешивания. Но если я им понадоблюсь, то я буду там. Из-за этого нужно мне держать форму, тренироваться, делать спарринги и постараться не травмировать себя в этих схватках, но при этом же выложиться на 100%, чтобы люди обрадовались, пришли посмотреть за красивым зрелищной схваткой. И отдохну после уже боя Пимблетт-Gaethje.
В связи с этим вот хотел задать еще один тебе вопрос. Я правильно понимаю, что ты отправляешься в Лас-Вегас в январе и будешь находиться уже там?
Да, после Нового года я отмечу Новый год в Армении и после Нового года сразу же вылечу не Вегас, в Лос-Анджелес, рядом с Вегасом, там час лететь, так что буду там и буду использовать свой шанс максимально, так как у нас непростой путь, из-за этого мы должны быть наготове.
Hey, just on that interim title between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett, they got Pimblett as the favorite here. Do you agree with the odds? Do you agree that Paddy Pimblett being the favorite against Justin Gaethje?
Nah, I don't think it's the favorite. I wouldn't have him. Gaethje's takedown defense is pretty sharp. I don't see him. I don't know. Like we just haven't seen like Paddy in there get in there that often and mix it up with the best guys in their prime. So it's a big opportunity for him, but we'll see.
As the fight night gets closer, the breakdowns are everywhere. Coaches, analysts, and former fighters are digging into Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett, studying styles, strengths, and possible turning points. Every clip and comment adds something new, and the picture of how this fight could play out is getting sharper by the day. So let's break it down.
Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, it's gonna be interesting fight because we know Paddy Pimblett, he does more jiu-jitsu grappling. If they go striking, I think Justin will beat him. But if they try more grappling, then Paddy got this, and who knows what they're gonna do, you know? What kind of fights they will show. And I don't know who will be winner. Both can win.
Well, whoever wins that fight, whether it is Paddy or Justin, how do you think they fare against when Ilya is ready to return?
Yeah, they have no chance against Ilya. Either Paddy or Justin, you know. Ilya, very, very good champion. We know he hits hard, and also he is good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu.
The man who was overlooked by Dana for the title fight, Arman Tsarukyan, has made sure his name stays in the conversation ahead of UFC 324. He's announced that he's ready to step in as the backup fighter if anything goes wrong with Justin Gaethje or Paddy Pimblett during the build-up. After being left on the sidelines, Arman isn't waiting quietly. He's actively inserting himself into this matchup, reminding everyone that he's prepared, motivated, and watching closely for any opening.
Спасибо за вопрос. Отдыха не будет, так как я буду, можно сказать, запасным, но неофициально запасным на бой Paddy против Gaethje. То есть, если кто-то из них травмируется, то я буду готов залететь за неделю, за 10 дней, за 5 дней. То есть я буду подводить свой вес, да, я не буду гонять его в день взвешивания. Но если я им понадоблюсь, то я буду там. Из-за этого нужно мне держать форму, тренироваться, делать спарринги и постараться не травмировать себя в этих схватках. Но при этом же выложиться на 100%, чтобы люди обрадовались, пришли посмотреть за красивым зрелищной схваткой. И отдохну после уже боя Пимблетт-Gaethje.
В связи с этим вот хотел задать еще один тебе вопрос. Я правильно понимаю, что ты отправляешься в Лас-Вегас в январе и будешь находиться уже там?
Да, после Нового года. Я отмечу Новый год в Армении и после Нового года сразу же вылечу не в Вегас, в Лос-Анджелес, рядом с Вегасом, там час лететь, так что буду там и буду использовать свой шанс максимально, так как у нас непростой путь, из-за этого мы должны быть наготове.
But Justin Gaethje isn't going to let that happen. He isn't treating this like a normal camp. He's pushed his training to another level, stacking an extra session onto his Mondays and grinding through 3 workouts in a single day. It's the kind of routine that leaves nothing spared, and it shows he's fully committed to breaking himself down in the gym, so he's ready for whatever Paddy Pimblett brings on fight night.
And I added an extra workout on Mondays, so now I have 3 workouts, and I really tear my body down so I can. And then Tuesday, I have sparring and sprints. Wednesday, similar to today, but it's only 2 workouts. And then Thursday and Friday is only 1 workout, but very high intense workouts. And so I think I'm going to be, I really knew for a fact that I was going to fight in the future, so I was, doing everything I could to be in the best shape of my life.
And then the man who is at the center of the chase. Ilia Topuria has suggested there's much more at stake in this matchup than fans might realize. He revealed that the UFC already has alternative plans in place if Justin Gaethje comes out on top against Paddy Pimblett, though he stopped short of sharing details. The big question, according to Topuria, is whether Gaethje has the ability to disrupt what the UFC is building and derail both the promotion's vision and Paddy's momentum once the fight actually happens.
De los más emocionantes para el público. Y Justin dice, yo les voy a echar el plan a perder al UFC y voy a pelear con Ilia en la Casa Blanca. ¿Te gusta esa idea? Porque obviamente Justin es de los candidatos, porque es estadounidense, porque ha estado cercano al presidente Trump, etc.
Mira, la verdad que yo siempre acepto la voluntad de Dios, lo que Él quiera que pase para mí será bueno. Si gana Paddy, si gana Justin Gaethje, realmente si gana Justin Gaethje, la UFC tiene planes diferentes de las que no puedo hablar en este momento. Pero bueno, si me ofrecieran pelear con Justin Gaethje en la Casa Blanca, también sería un combate muy emocionante para mí. Sería algo que me ilusionaría muchísimo. No sé qué tan capaz va a ser de arruinar los planes de la UFC y los planes de Paddy Pimblett. Lo va a tener bastante difícil, no imposible, así que le deseo toda la suerte. Pero no sé si tendrá tanta suerte ganándole a Paddy Pimblett, porque después se va a tener que encerrar en un octógono conmigo, y no sé si eso es tener mucha suerte.
Moreover, Merab Dvalishvili's take adds even more context to the stakes of this fight. He pointed out that Paddy thrives on grappling, while Justin has the advantage if it stays standing, making the outcome entirely dependent on how the matchup plays out. But looking beyond UFC 324, Merab was clear that no matter who comes out on top, neither Paddy nor Justin would be a real challenge once Ilia Topuria is back in the cage, highlighting just how dominant he is seen in the division.
Paddy Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, it's gonna be interesting fight because we know Paddy Pimblett, he does more jiu-jitsu grappling. If they go striking, I think Justin will beat him. But if they try more grappling, then Paddy got this, and who knows what they're gonna do, what kind of fights they will show. And I don't know who will be winning. Both can win.
Well, whoever wins that fight, whether it is Paddy or Justin, how do you think they fare against when Ilia is ready to return?
Yeah, they have no chance against Ilia. either Paddy or Justin. You know, Ilya, very, very good champion. You know, we know he hits hard, and also he is good wrestler, good jiu-jitsu.
On the other hand, Chael Sonnen also broke down what a matchup between Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett could look like. He said it would come down to speed, noting he asked Dustin Poirier who he thought was faster. Poirier admitted he wasn't sure, but highlighted Gaethje's power, pointing to the damage he's felt from his punches and kicks over the years. Still, Sonnen emphasized, the real question remains, which is who's quicker, and how will that speed factor shape the fight?
Gaethje versus Paddy, what does that fight look like? And for me, it's whoever's fastest. I asked Dustin Poirier this question. Happened to be with Dustin over the weekend. I said, hey, who's faster? He said, I don't know. And I said, well, who do you favor in the striking? Now, Dustin said, largely because of my history with Gaethje, because I felt his punches, I can tell you the damage that guy can do with the punches and the kicks. But I'm still stuck wondering who's fast.
Sonnen continued his breakdown, focusing on the all-important factor of speed. He pointed out that Paddy Pimblett isn't the fresh-faced 24-year-old some might imagine. He's about to turn 32, and Joe Silva even tried to sign him years ago. In contrast, Justin Gaethje is older, and in the striking world, youth often translates to a speed advantage. Sonnen stressed that when comparing fighters, age can be a simple measure of who might be quicker, regardless of records, knockouts, or experience. He noted that while there are ways to beat Gaethje, the common thread is that anyone who wants to take him down needs to be faster. Speed, more than anything else, is the key to cracking his game.
But the first thing to go is your speed. And I wonder who's faster. Paddy the Baddy is not the young guy you think he is. Paddy the Baddy is not the brand new 24-year-old new kid on the block that you think that he is. As a matter of fact, Joe Silva tried to sign Paddy the Baddy. Joe Silva left the industry a decade ago. And he tried to sign Paddy the Baddy. So I'm just speaking to, Paddy goes about 32. He's got a birthday coming up. He could be pushing on 33, gonna be 32. I'm just sharing. He's not the boy that you think he is. But Justin is older. And in the world of boxing, the speed advantage would go to the youth. If you didn't know who's faster than who, and you could just look at one number, it wouldn't be record, it wouldn't be knockouts, it wouldn't be experience. You would just look at who was younger. Well, he's got an advantage. And we love to say he's got an age advantage. But all we're saying is speed. That's what we're saying when we say he's got an age advantage. He's the younger. We're just saying that we think he's going to be quicker than the other guy. And that is one deal with Justin Gaethje. Like, there's ways to beat him. There's not many. There's guys that have beat him. There's not many. There's blueprints out there for how to beat Justin Gaethje, but there's not many. And the one thing they have in common is you got to be quicker than him. You got to be. Justin Gaethje.
And on the topic of speed and striking, MMA Guru weighed in with his take, tipping the scales in Paddy Pimblett's favor. He highlighted Paddy's sharp range, dynamic striking, and ability to mix in takedowns, noting that Gaethje's age and wear from past wars could play a role. On the ground, Pimblett's jiu-jitsu and back control give him an edge, making him capable of keeping Gaethje down and even hunting a submission. Adding more context to Gaethje's evolution, Eddie Alvarez shared his first-hand experience training around him. He noted a dramatic change in Gaethje's approach, thanks to a tight-knit camp with Trevor Whitman, Kamaru Usman, Carrington Banks, and Corey Sandhagen. Alvarez praised the focused environment where strategy, preparation, and teamwork come first, giving Gaethje an edge and making him a formidable opponent inside the cage. Building on Gaethje's evolution in camp, Eddie Alvarez also touched on the betting side of things. While the UFC might favor Paddy Pimblett to pull through, Alvarez stressed that Gaethje's unpredictability makes him a serious threat. He noted the opening odds, which are Pimblett at -180 and Gaethje at +200, and predicted those lines could shift dramatically as fight night draws closer. Following the breakdown of Gaethje's camp and betting edge, Michael Bisping adds his trademark blunt perspective. After a quiet winter, Paddy Pimblett is back, ready to capitalize on everyone's post-holiday slump. First up, the showdown with Justin Gaethje. Bisping believes that Paddy must win to claim the interim title and make a Nate Diaz call-out meaningful. A loss likely shuts that door, but a victory could pave the way to major fights, potentially against Ilia Topuria or Arman Tsarukyan. He also weighs in on Diaz, noting the fan favorite belongs in the UFC, not distracted by boxing ventures. And then Dan Hooker was quick to voice his opinion on the betting odds, dismissing Paddy Pimblett as the favorite over Justin Gaethje. He argued that Gaethje's solid takedown defense and proven experience against top-tier opponents clearly put him ahead. According to Hooker, this fight is a huge test for Pimblett, a true measure of his level, and he isn't convinced that Paddy deserves to be seen as the frontrunner just yet. Adding to the debate around Paddy Pimblett, the Weasel, a YouTube MMA analyst, didn't hold back. He argued that if the fight really comes down to Gaethje or Pimblett, Paddy's favorite status isn't deserved. He called out what he sees as a manufactured push, pointing to the interim title being used mainly to set up a potential matchup with Ilia Topuria, a move he labels completely contrived. Meanwhile, Sean O'Malley admits he's leaning slightly toward Paddy Pimblett. He acknowledges that Paddy can be caught by left hooks, but overall sees him as sharp and dangerous, especially after his showing against Michael Chandler. Sean emphasizes that Paddy has multiple paths to victory. He's tough, elusive, and a serious threat on the feet. He even recalls Paddy's head kick knockout of Dustin Poirier before his fight with Max Holloway, underscoring the kind of finishing power he brings into the cage. And then Brendan Schaub also weighed in on how UFC 324 in Vegas came together. He explained that the original plan was a showdown between Paddy Pimblett and Ilia Topuria, but when Topuria announced a personal hiatus, the UFC pivoted and brought in Justin Gaethje. Schaub acknowledged fans' frustration on behalf of Arman Tsarukyan, still the #1 contender, but stressed that doesn't take away from the fight itself. He called Pimblett versus Gaethje a must-watch, high-octane clash, a straight-up banger. According to Schaub, the main controversy stems from the interim title angle and sidelining Arman, even though the winner is set to move directly toward Topuria next. So these are some fascinating takes, from Gaethje's evolved game to Pimblett's striking and the interim title debate. What's your prediction for UFC 324? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.